I wouldn't come through here.
I gotta get to my car.
Go up around. I'll get on the sidewalk, walk around.
Okay, thank you.
You got it. think we are.
Yeah, right.
Keyhole.
Hello, hello, hello. Test, test, test. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Check, check, check. 1 2 1 2 1 2. You guys live around here? Is that the Santara Heights apartments?
It's a what?
Is that the Santara Heights apartment?
Santara Heights.
Do you know the name of the apartment complex? Do you know the name of the apartment complex?
Santara Heights.
It is Santara Heights?
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Pretty luxury apartments.
Do you live in there?
I live in
Oh, so you're kind of forced out right now. You're not able to.
I try to tell them, I mean, how do you know the guy didn't break somewhere and is hiding in his apartment? Is there the hostage situation?
Oh, they don't know. They're looking. They have the drones. They're trying to.
This guy doesn't have his birthday. Yeah, I went shopping to HEB, I came back and I gotta go home.
Sucks. Robert, nice to meet you.
Robert,
Good
nice
luck
to
with
meet
everything.
you.
We're gonna have to do a little live newscast
Get
here.
it? Very minimalistic crew.
Oh, okay, cool. Thank you.
Any other time, that's always.
I might ask you, so don't be surprised. So maybe like spin it around just to show where they have all like see all the cop cars there blocked off. We're in the commercial break when we come out of the grocery store. Okay, very good. Okay, I might reference that, but yeah, we'll start with the scene. Yeah, we'll move around stuff, but we'll start on me. Here outside the Santara Heights. We're here live outside the Santara Heights apartments where I'm very. Yeah, they confirmed the 3 police officers were shot. Yeah. 3. It was apparently a suicide in progress call they were responding to. A suicide. They were responding to a suicide in progress. It turned into a shooting. Suicide in progress, like there was a call for a possible suicide.
If he does it,
Well, we are hearing what sounds like possible gunshots again. We've been, this call came out around 8:30. As you just said, this is the Santera Heights apartments we're standing in front of. Very large police presence, as San Antonio police are confirming that 3 of their officers have been shot. In fact, Police Chief William McManus just arrived on scene saying that these officers were shot while responding to a suicide in progress. That's what they were calling this. I'm going to step out of the way so you can get a better sense of just how many people are here on scene right now. You can see those road flares where they've demarked or they've lined up. We actually got here so soon that we are inside the line of where they've blocked off to the public. The call came out around 8:30, so right now we're looking at it about exactly an hour ago. We got on scene around 8:50. At 8:55, we heard more shots fired. And then 10 minutes later at 9:05, we heard even more shots fired. We've seen drones in the air. We've seen the Eagle helicopter up in the air as they were attempting to secure this shooter. Again, this is the Santera Heights apartments off Santera Place and Stone Oak Parkway off 1604, luxury apartments. This has been going on for the better part of an hour, still very much an active scene. Police Chief William McManus calling this hot, H-O-T, exclamation point, exclamation point. He posted that to Twitter about an hour ago. So we are going to stay on scene and hopefully learn more concrete information from police. But again, this is one more time, Santera Heights Apartments. This is Santera Place near Stone Oak Parkway in 1604, in far north side, Stone Oak area. 3 police officers confirmed shot while responding to a suicide in progress. Not clear if they have the suspected shooter in custody. All right, we are being told now that confirmed that a fourth police officer was hit. So this is turning into a very dramatic scene. 4 San Antonio police officers confirmed shot tonight. This has been going on for about an hour here at the Santera Heights apartments. We're going to stay here, learn more about what happened exactly, how this developed, but they're calling this a suicide in progress call that turned into 4 San Antonio police officers shot. And these shots have continued over the course of this past hour. We heard them ourselves at 8:55, 9:05, and then possibly again about 5 minutes ago. So we're going to maybe back off just a little bit, but they're continuing to have the drones in the air and the Eagle helicopter as they're having people stay away. We've actually spoken to some people who live at these apartments who had gone to the grocery store, came back, and were told they could not re-enter. This is all blocked off. So we are going to stay out here as a possible, I guess, continuing to be an active shooter situation. San Antonio police SWAT officers are on scene. We've seen them show up and gear up as they continue to try to secure this location. So we're going to continue this, observe what is going on here at the Santera Heights apartments, Santera Place, Stone Oak Parkway in 1604, and we're being told we're going to have to back off right now a little bit because this is still an active scene. So we're going to back off and continue to monitor from a distance. We'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
You just back up the LT wants to back up. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very. Hold on for this for 1 second. Someone was freaking calling me while I was doing that live shot. It was really annoying.
Back over to home car authority? Yeah. Yeah, on the way, I guess. Wherever you want.
it's Everett. What's that?
What are the shots?
I've heard like 20 since I've been out here. I'm like, do I need to duck?
I was like, does anyone have a vest?
Where's David when we need him?
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah.
I can hear you, yes. No, just what they've confirmed, the 4 officers hit, suicide in progress, but I mean, we're continuing to see more SWAT officers arriving on scene. So it's not clear why it keeps growing, but it's growing, so it's standoff of some sort. Okay. Oh, good evening, Jonathan. We've been here for the better part of an hour and 20 minutes or so right now. He confirms that 4 San Antonio police officers have now been shot. They were initially called out here responding to what they call a suicide in progress call. That's when the shots were fired and directed towards police officers. This perimeter has gotten bigger since we've been here. Let me step out of the way. We've actually been pushed back a little bit since we first got here. The photographer and I heard around 8:55 more shots fired, then again around 9:05. Another volley. A very active scene. The police chief referred to this as a hot scene. There have been drones in the air getting surveillance of the scene of the barricaded subject. The Eagle helicopter is in the vehicle rolling into the scene, them suiting up, preparing to deal with this barricaded subject. Maybe it will turn into a standoff. They're calling it an active shooter situation, and with good reason, because 4 officers in the process of responding to this call have been shot. A lot of people on scene. You see another officer right there. Courtney, if you pan over, you can see that police officer arriving on scene. This continues to develop. We're waiting for official confirmation on where things stand right now, but just by judging on the growing scene, it is in no way resolved just yet. Like I said, we've been here for about an hour and a half now, actually, as we're approaching the 10 o'clock hour, and we ourselves have heard the gunshots continue over the course of the past 80 to 90 minutes. So, Jonathan, we're going to stay on this scene, and hopefully by the time the top of the hour rolls around, we will have heard from police with another update. But San Antonio Police Chief William McMahon is confirming that 4 San Antonio police officers have been shot here at the Sonterra Heights apartments. To give you a point of reference, again, this is the Stone Oak area, Sonterra Place, off 1604 and Stone Oak Parkway. People who may be familiar with the Chamagacha Brazilian Steakhouse. I'm looking at it right now. We're in the parking lot. That's how far we've been pushed back. But again, we're going to stay out here as they continue to try to bring this to a resolution, a peaceful resolution. But so far, a violent night on the north side as 4 San Antonio police officers have been shot. Jonathan? So while we were there, we got here early enough to where we were inside the perimeter. Didn't know it at the time, but when we got out of our car, we realized that they had put the road flares behind us. At 8:55, Courtney, my photographer, turned to me and said, "Those were gunshots. Did you hear that?" And I went, "I think those were gunshots." We had just stepped out of the car. It sounded like a blast of about 4 to 5, really quick in rapid succession. Then 10 minutes later, more gunshots. We're far enough back to where it's not easy for us to tell who is firing those shots, if it's police at the suspect or the suspect at police. We're tending to think now that it was the suspect at police, now that we've learned that initial reports were 3 officers. Then 10 minutes later, the police chief updated that, saying now 4 officers have been hit. So this was not necessarily all at one time. This was happening over the course. Yeah, that's a little insight. We have a service where the police department directly interacts with the media through a private social media channel, and they actually told us after the fact, again, I want to reiterate, this was after we'd already arrived here, that they wanted us to stay away from the 18,000 block of Sonterra Place, which is where this is taking place, because it was such an active, hot scene, as they called it. Then we got out, they pushed us back, we were in the parking lot, they pushed us back even further, and so now we're at this distance. Courtney, actually, if you pan over, maybe give a sense of the distance we are from where the scene actually is. You can see as you go further and further back, more flashing lights. So we've been pushed back a good football field at this point. But initially, if you see where those flashing lights are right there, that's, if you push in, yeah, Courtney, right there. If you keep going in where those flashing lights are, that's just beyond that light crossover. I think, yeah, that blinking hazard light is us. That's where we parked initially. So that's where we started, and this is where we've been pushed back to. That's where we were when we heard the initial gunshots. All right. All right, we're about a minute away. We gotta clear the path for, I don't know what you call that, San Antonio Fire Department's crisis response unit of some sort. That's a new one for me. All right, we're about to go live off the top of the 10 o'clock news on News 4. We're also streaming live and I believe being simulcast on Fox. Stand by. Well, good evening, Jonathan. We've been here for the better part of 90 minutes now here outside the Sonterra Heights luxury apartment. We've been pushed back a ways, but if I'm going to step out of the way and you take a scene or look at the scene right now, you can see this is very much still hot, still active, as an armored vehicle has arrived from the San Antonio Fire Department. The chief confirmed that 4 police officers were shot while responding to a suicide in progress call, is what they were describing it as. Again, this is the Sonterra Heights apartments off Sonterra Place near 1604 and Stone Oak Parkway. This entire area blocked off. We've seen the Eagle helicopter up in the air. In fact, Gordon, if you want to pan up, you can see it right there above the apartments as this barricaded subject has not been brought into custody just yet. We are awaiting official word from police. Normally they have a staging area. That's where they've placed us now. The police chief will most likely be the one to come over and speak with us to give us the update. This started around 8:30 this evening. We arrived on scene fairly quickly, fairly soon after that. Around 8:50 we were here, and around 8:55 is when we heard shots fired ourselves. Then about 10 minutes later, we heard more shots fired. This was kind of an evolving situation where initially we heard 3 officers had been shot. And then about 10 minutes later, the police chief updated that, confirming that now 4 officers had been shot. That is the extent of it right now. The suspected shooter is still barricaded. We do not believe he has been brought into custody, and this continues to grow in number in terms of the response from law enforcement. SWAT officers, now the fire department is here, San Antonio police, ambulance, EMS. So yeah, we have been pushed back as this continues to grow. But again, one more time, this is the Sonterra Heights apartments, described as luxury apartments. This parking lot here actually has a lot of people who live here who had momentarily left. We are waiting an update from the police chief ourselves. But one more time to recap, as this has been going to Heights apartments. 4 San Antonio police officers as an active shooter situation, as the suspect had barricaded himself inside one of these apartments. We are going to, Courtney, if you want to pan over, this is another vehicle, a lot of response units continuing to arrive on scene here 90 minutes later after this first was called out. So we're going to just have to wait and see where things stand. But we're going to stay on scene, obviously continue to cover this throughout the duration of the newscast. Jonathan, I'll send it back to you in the studio. is on. We do have some updates, Jonathan. We just spoke with Police Chief William McManus, who briefed the media about 5 minutes ago, and this is what he's telling us so far. The suspect is not in custody. SWAT officers are still engaging him. They say he's a man in his 40s. This was a suicide in progress call that they were responding to around 8:30 this evening. The family members of the suspect called police asking for help. And when they got here, this is when it turned into a shooting situation where 4 San Antonio police officers were shot. Good news here, if you want to call it that. These were all non-life-threatening injuries that the officers suffered. We're told one was shot at a university hospital to be treated for their wounds, for their injuries. This man, again, a suspect in his 40s here at the apartment complex of Santerra Place, is still not in custody, is being engaged with by SWAT officers. A growing police presence over the past 90 minutes. This call coming in around 8:30 this evening, and the shots continued. We heard shots ourselves around 8:55 and again at 9:05. This man, a man in his 40s, was apparently displaying suicidal tendencies. His 4 officers were hit. Their injuries, though, described as non-life-threatening. The work now, SWAT officers trying to get him in custody to bring this to a peaceful end on what has been a very non-peaceful evening so far. Jonathan? Sure. Sure. So this started out with about 4 or 5 police officers on scene when we rolled in around 8:45. Then very quickly soon after, lights and sirens, police arriving on scene in rapid succession. I'm gonna step out of the way. You can just see the lights down here. They're setting up what we call the mobile command unit, or what they call the mobile command unit, setting up the satellite dish. And this is meaning they're going to be here for a while. We've seen armored vehicles from San Antonio SWAT. San Antonio Fire Department had their own armored vehicle that arrived on scene. The perimeter has grown as they're keeping people who both live and work and shop in this area further and further back. Again, the name is the Santerra Heights apartments. They call these luxury apartments. We've actually spoken with people who live here who had stepped out momentarily and were not let back in because by the time they got back here, this is what had developed. This is a Parkway area. And so we hear the shots around 8:55. We obviously are concerned for our own safety, so we back up, and then we think we're at a safe distance, and they say, police come up to us again and say, no, you're going to need to move back even further. So that's why we are where we are right now. We've looked up in the air. We can see that they have drones. They have their Eagle helicopter, keeping an eye on the perimeter. We don't know where within the complex this barricaded suspect is, but we do know that SWAT has made contact with him, and they are trying to convince him to peacefully surrender. Jonathan? Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. And turn your light on.
I'm gonna need to change my camera battery soon.
Okay.
Are you ready? We will go past it. Yeah. So, because you're not like it. Sure. No.
What is that vehicle?
Called the Rook. SWAT uses it. One of them will be able to better tell you about this. First time I've seen it. I've never heard of it.
Yeah, right. I've seen a lot of like kind of tools being brought out that I haven't seen before.
I know it's armed up. It's used to like help control through windows, so then raid and people see through other stuff. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, what about that SAFD vehicle? That was just an armored.
Armored. First time I've seen it too.
Right?
Yeah, armored up a SAFD vehicle. I'm assuming for stuff like this.
Okay.
Where there's active stuff going on.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you an update. You made reference to that vehicle that passed by us earlier. I'm going to step out of the way. Courtney, if you want to get a closer shot, I did speak to one San Antonio police officer on the scene, kind of just walked over to him and said, hey, what's that? He said it's called the Rook. He said even he hasn't seen it been deployed before. He's only heard of it. But it's used for SWAT teams to punch holes through windows and doors, to tools at the disposal of San Antonio police that you don't normally see in situations like this. Also saw an armored San Antonio Fire Department vehicle. Another police officer commented to me that he also hasn't seen that been used before. So we're seeing every tool at their disposal being brought to bear here on this awful night where 4 San Antonio police officers have been shot. A very chilly night too, if you hear my speech being a little impaired. But that is what's going on right now. That is what that vehicle, I don't know if anyone had a chance to Google the Rook, but that's what it's called, and that is a SWAT armored vehicle that is used in these kind of barricaded suspect situations. That's going to be rolling off the whatever, it's rolling off and being used here pretty soon. So that's just what I just picked up on the scene here in the last 5 minutes. Jonathan. just because I'm just to help Jonathan out. He's just basically describe what he sees.
Yeah, I can't hear it.
No, that's all right. That's what I was just like. Yeah, he's still talking, so I maybe move the camera and get more to talk about. More to describe.
Hello. Right next to Fort Deanne Harbor. Both are in the Adelaide shop right now. Oh, I'm somewhere else. Destiny and Jared went to go try and get stuff. Okay. I mean, okay. That's not from us, that's from Jared's.
It's me.
Where's this on? She has 3. Alright, David, here's what's gonna happen. Hey, David, how about I man court? I put the recording camera, and I say to Robert, she goes to travel. Oh, her battery is gonna die also. Do you have another one? Oh, that's fine. Go cut for a second. We gotta change her battery real quick, just so you know. No, her camera battery. She just needs to switch out the camera battery. Just switch yours right now. Okay. She's just switching it. Yeah, don't kill the screen. Yeah, I'm here.
Do you have anything in the car?
I'm not, but I can try it again. Okay. Okay. Hey, David, real quick, what do I do with my camera? Can I shut it down? Like, live view 1, my camera, do I shut it down or just leave it up? Alright. You're good. Alright, you got it. Bye. He'll be there.
Yeah, I do.
He needs it.
Thank you.
Alright, thanks, Dave.
What about this big jacket?
Yeah, okay.
That's for a news. You want one? I have the news one.
Yeah, I'll take it. That'd be great. Thank you. Well, you should probably have it actually.
That's all right.
It's a news one. I'm gonna leave my camera on just to use the light in case you need to step back in front.
Okay.
Oh, let's see.
Yeah, I am. Yes, hello.
That would be nuts. Yeah.
Sure. I'm gonna run to my car to get my earpiece.
Careful, because they might be taking you soon.
Okay, I'll just hold it then.
What's that?
Those are gunshots, right?
Just now? Might have been them poking through something. Breaking it down. Oh, yeah, that might be them knocking something. Yeah, I'm here. Hello, hello, hello. Is it working? Yeah. Okay. No, but not a flashbang.
Or that's it. That's what it is.
You think it is?
Yeah. Just bang or smoke.
You see some smoke?
No. It's one of those.
Well, I just wanted to give you one quick update, establish what that noise might represent, if it is a flashbang or a handheld battering ram. But this is about 100 yards away, about a football field away, that we're hearing this loud noise, giving us a sense that maybe there is some new activity, some renewed activity here on scene in an attempt to bring this barricaded subject into custody. Everett, if you want to pan off of me and kind of zoom in on those flashing lights, this is the area in which we're hearing the noise coming from in the helicopter up above. Just wanted to bring that to your attention because there had been kind of a lull. We were wondering if there was a breakdown in communication between the SWAT officers and the suspect, man in his 40s. But now that we're hearing this loud bang noise about 2 times in the span of about a minute or so, it gave us a sense that maybe this is reaching some sort of culmination, that they were getting the sense that they were not going to be waiting anymore. So that's the update here on the ground, Jonathan. Yes, I am. Sure. Yeah, Jonathan, and I'm actually hearing more noise off in the distance, and I'm still not able to fully characterize what that noise is. It sounds like maybe a vehicle of some sort. I don't know if it picks up over the microphone or not, but I'm hearing it as I'm speaking right now. It sounds like it's making contact with some. I hear it again. I don't know if it's picking up over the microphone. I don't know how to describe it, but it's an activity that has been accelerating over the past 10 minutes or so. One thing I wanted to mention in listening to those is that this didn't all happen at once, that this happened over a period of time, that the responding officer would get shot, then another officer would come to the scene and get shot, third, fourth. So this wasn't 4 officers simultaneously shot during a back and forth. This was each time, and we referenced earlier 05, didn't know it at the time. We knew we heard gunshots, but we didn't know that that was what we were listening to, those police officers being shot. Everett, if you want to pan over here right now, you can see that these are people who are residents of the apartment complex that are trying to figure out when they're going to be able to get back into their apartments. And the answer, in short, is not anytime soon. This is very much an evolving situation that it does not appear to have been resolved in any meaningful way right now. So pan back over here. That's where we are at the outside of the perimeter. The SWAT vehicles are over here, and we're just keeping tabs on how soon this will be resolved. Jonathan? Still penned in? I mean, I guess you could just drive through the grass.
That's a good idea.
I don't think anyone would hold it against you.
No. Why would you? Why did I know? Oh, it could have been me at Chopper.
You'd rather be in Chopper?
Yeah.
Because it's not air conditioned. Nope. Someone's calling.
Here, look at it.
So how should I handle that IFB wise? All right, will do. Okay. How much are they going to read? I mean, like, how much are they going to say? Okay. Okay. Do you have the ability to turn that light on?
I can try it. I think it's dead.
All right. No. Ashley, Ryan, good evening. We are here outside this, the Sonterra Heights apartments. This is off of Sonterra Place near 1604 and Stone Oak Parkway, where this scene has been evolving for the better part of 2.5 hours now. The calls were called out around 8:30 for shots fired. We have heard from the police chief. He has confirmed that those 4 San Antonio police officers were shot. Thankfully, non-life-threatening condition. What we've come to learn is that this did not happen all at once, that this was, as each officer responded, they were shot. It was called a suicide in progress call. A man in his 40s, family members were told of this man, called police. They were concerned about him, and each time a new San Antonio police officer arrived on scene, they were shot by this man in his 40s, this barricaded suspect. Everett, if you want to pan off of me and show the people at home what this scene looks like right now, a heavy police presence. SWAT officers have been in contact with the man, we're told, trying to get him to peacefully surrender. A lot of their high-tech equipment has been deployed in this effort. We saw a heavy-duty vehicle of theirs, an armored vehicle, we were told called the Rook is what the vehicle is known as. Some of the officers on scene told me they personally have never seen it in action. They've only heard of it. It's used to kind of breach doors and windows and see into buildings and enter if need be, and that is what we've heard. Some noise in the last 10 to 15 minutes, loud bang noise. We're not sure if it's a flash bang or if it's the Rook being used to punch a hole through some sort of exterior wall or window or door. We just know that this suspect has not been brought into custody yet. We do know that the 4 officers have been taken to the hospital. 2 have been taken to SAMC, 2 have been taken to University Hospital. Thankfully, non-life-threatening injuries. But this has been going on for about 2.5 hours now. This perimeter, they've kept us about a football field away, but within the last 10 to 15 minutes, we have been hearing some crunching bang noises that sounds like they're maybe tired of waiting, and they're maybe trying to bring this to a resolution before it gets too deep. a little bit of frustration on the part of some of the people who live here. They maybe had stopped by HEB, stepped out for a moment, and here they come, return to their homes and realize, oh, they're not going to be able to get into their apartments anytime soon because there is this wide perimeter. I've seen people walk up to police, ask, hey, can I come in? They're like, no, sorry. I've spoken to some of them. A man told me, yeah, I went to HEB. I didn't realize when I came back I wasn't going to be able to get back into my apartment anytime soon. We referenced during the Fox News at 9 that we arrived on scene around 8:45, and that at 8:55 we heard the unmistakable sound of gunshots. And then about 10 minutes later, at around 9:05, we heard more gunshots. What we did not realize at that time is that those were the third and fourth police officers who were arriving on scene being shot by this barricaded suspect, a 40-year-old man, or a man in his 40s, said to have been suicidal. We initially thought when we heard that 3 officers had been shot, that was the initial number 3, that maybe they had all been shot at once during an initial contact. We've now come to learn that these were all individual moments. As each officer responded, they were shot, and then that number got raised to 4. Then we heard the news that they're all non-life-threatening injuries, at least preliminarily. That's what the police chief, William McManus, is telling us. So that's the good news here, that they are being treated currently in the hospital. The evolving situation is we don't know how long it's going to take for them to bring this man into custody. Ryan, Ashley? Unrelated,
Yeah.
but it is San Antonio. Can you press that number?
The top one?
Yeah. And then call it. Gloves don't like.
Yeah.
No, it's me. No, it's me.
There's no usage on it or charge.
No.
And that's their phone. SOPD.
Yes. Sure. Good evening, Jonathan. Yeah, it's been about 2.5 hours that we've been on scene here. This all started around 8:30 with the shots fired call. We've subsequently learned that the 4 injured officers didn't all happen at once, that this was every time a new officer arrived on scene, they were shot. This was a suicide in progress call. A man in his 40s was displaying suicidal tendencies. Family members were concerned. They called San Antonio to check on him, and they were met with gunfire. So we're about a football field away from where I don't want to say the action is taking place, but where the SWAT officers and the flashing lights are trying to engage with this barricaded place near 1604 and Stone Oak Parkway. People who may be familiar with this area, other spots, this is the Franklin Park Apartments I'm standing next to. I'm actually in the parking lot of Chamagacha, a Brazilian steakhouse for people who are familiar with this area. And this is where the SWAT officers have kind of moved in. In the past 15 to 20 minutes, we have heard some increased activity, some loud bang noises, some crunch noises. We're not sure if that is what you referenced earlier as the Rook, which is one of these high-tech SWAT vehicles that is able to breach doors, windows, make entry. We don't know that that's what's taking place, but we do know that we were hearing loud bang noises, and that was new because there was about a lull for 60 minutes where we weren't hearing anything. So we are waiting to see if this is going to come to a conclusion anytime soon. They do have the perimeter still up, and this is still very much an active scene. So we're going to stand here and monitor it and let you know if there are any new developments, Jonathan.
Turn off their headlight.
They might defer everything to the chief in situations like this. You know, whoever's outranked. Maneuver around now. Yeah, but if you move forward and back up and then reposition, do like an 8-point turn.
So grab their stuff out of the back and throw it in the back too.
Yes, I can. You know, it's hard for me to say. I mean, there's still flashing lights from the outside of the apartment complex where we are. We are seeing some people moving their vantage points. We see some police officers pulling out who had, like, Everett, if you want to flip the camera around really quick, you can see that these, police officers are moving around, so we don't know what the significance of that is, if this is some sort of shift change or if they're, repositioning themselves. It might just be a shift change. Everett, if you want to swing back around this way, you can see that we've been here now for going on 2.5 hours. And there was a lull for about 60 minutes and after the initial gunfire. And then within the past 20 to 30 minutes, we started hearing that loud bang noise or crunch noise, whether it was flashbang or whether some sort of entrance, we don't know. We can only go based on what we're hearing, and that was a signal that there was some renewed activity. They still have Eagle helicopter up in the air. In terms of the speculation of turning the lights off, I can't speak to that. I can tell you that there is no sign of them leaving anytime soon, Ryan. Absolutely, and you know that their fellow officers are feeling the severity of the situation. They know that could have easily been them who responded to this call, a call of suicide in progress, and each time a new officer arrived on scene, they were met with gunfire and wounded in the torso and the lower extremities, thankfully non-life-threatening injuries, each now in the hospital being treated for their wounds, but you know that increased sense of urgency to bring this to a resolution so that there is no more gunfire and that there are no more injuries, that this reaches a peaceful conclusion this evening. You know, actually, I'm going to do something a little unorthodox. Everett, if I'm not mistaken, were you speaking with a neighbor just a moment ago when I stepped away? You want to tell them what he was telling you really quick? This is Everett, our photographer.
Yeah, he was saying that he just went out to get some dinner, and when he said around 7:30, he had gone out, and then he came back. He saw the road was barricaded, and there were flares on the street, and the police told him there's an active shooting situation in progress, so he had to stay back. He's currently waiting just to go back to his home.
Yeah, so then that was 2.5 hours ago, and just a side note, for what it's worth, it is quite cold, quite cold. So I'm being told to send it back to you guys in the studio.
Very good.
Thank you. Yes, he stepped away for a second. He's gonna come right back up shortly. Robert, I can go get him. Okay, he's walking back up. He just stepped away for a second. That's our chopper. Yeah, they said it's hot right now, so wait, maybe that's ours, unless there's another one.
What's your name?
Travis.
Hey Travis, would you be willing to let me interview you for talking about what it's like having to sit down here in the cold?
I'm okay.
Okay. You'd rather not, you mean? Okay.
You do great.
They're just, I'm just struggling to come up with new things to say, and so if I could have the opportunity to speak to someone like yourself, who I, you know, yeah. Yeah, yes. Maybe?
Yeah.
No, all right. So yeah, I'm kind of losing track of time myself right now. So what? It's 11:20ish right now. So we're coming up on 3 hours that the scene has been here. 8:30 is when the first call for shots fired came out, and as you can see, I'm going to step out of the way so you can see behind me that the scene is still very much active. No resolution as of yet. We actually haven't even heard any noise in the last 30 minutes or so. I was telling you earlier how we were hearing that bang crash noise, like there was some sort of amping up of activity. Since then, not as much. We don't know where we are at this moment in terms of where we are in the process of bringing this man into custody, this man in his 40s. So we can tell you that people are still not being allowed back into the apartment complex, that this has been going on for the better part of 2.5, 3 hours since we've been here. This started at 8:30. We got on scene around 8:45. At 8:55, we heard shots fired, the unmistakable sound of shots fired. Then again, about 10 minutes later, was that those were the third and fourth responding officers being shot. That this wasn't a shooting that took place all at once. It was an initial call for a suicide in progress, is how they described it, and that as each officer arrived on scene, they were met with gunfire and they were fired upon and they were wounded. Non-life-threatening injuries is how the chief described it. University Hospital and San Antonio Military Medical Center, and are expected to recover from their wounds. That is good news. The question now is if they're going to be able to bring this to a peaceful resolution without anyone else being injured. We're going to stay on scene and bring you any updates as soon as we get a sense that there is more activity, but we'll send it back to you for now, Jonathan.
That was just the news force network. Oh.
That might mean they're winding things down. I'm sure. Did I give you the keys? Okay. Can you press Joseph W?
That's our chopper.
What's up?
That's our chopper, I think.
That's what I assumed. I saw it at a distance. I think I saw it over there. We were thinking it was DPS, but I'm like, it could be KSAT, right?
News 4 at Fox.
News 4?
Yeah.
I assumed one of the news channels. I was like, yeah.
They used to have one. They lost it.
Who did KSAT?
Yeah, they shared it with kids, and then they couldn't come to it for the contractor deal. So
They just no helicopter.
no, we're the only news chopper.
Yeah. He's saying that's a news chopper actually. I was telling him, oh, it is DPS. Yeah, makes sense. They're keeping, I guess, Fox News. Yeah, that's what it is.
It's live right now, so wave.
I'm already on the news with KSAT.
Yeah, I don't want to be on the news. But,
Hello, Ashley. So we're coming up, developing the first calls for shots fired coming out at around 8:30. That call for a suicide in progress that then ultimately led to not one, not two, not three, but four San Antonio police officers being wounded, shot and wounded, now being treated for their injuries. The question is, how long will it take to bring this barricaded suspect into custody, hoping for a peaceful resolution? We're about a football field away. I'm going to step out of the way really quick to give you a sense of the scene, the distance from where we are right now. Still have the flashing lights, the area cordoned off. The idea here is that they're trying to get the guy into custody, a man in his 40s, suicidal. The reason that they were called out here was because of concerned family members. We don't know how much longer this is going to go on. I can tell you it is quite cold out here. There are people who live in these apartment complexes who have been on the outside waiting to be able to get back in. We're going to continue to monitor this and let you know if there's any activity, and of course you'll be Fox News First early edition starting at 5 a.m. This will absolutely, I shouldn't say absolutely, but hopefully most definitely be resolved by then. But sometimes these standoff situations can go on indefinitely for many hours, but we're hoping that will not be the case this evening. Ryan, Ashley.
Oh yeah. Yes, sir. Put those hand warmers in your boots.
right. I never actually messed with hand warmers. It works.
Yeah. I was in the Navy for 9 years, and when I was somewhere really cold, those things in your boots saved me.
I bet. What's your rate?
I was an MC,
MC.
so like this.
Okay. Dang.
What were you in?
No, I had a brother that was in
What did you do?
aviation, both swings, launch recovery.
For carrier life, on the aircraft carrier life for the ticket.
Oh yeah, exactly. Where were you staying? Yeah. Then off Whidbey Island for his last few years. So.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Full Virginia's rough. Yeah.
Really?
Norfolk.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what
God,
he was
it's
saying.
the worst.
That's what he was saying. I think he hated that
Yeah,
out.
Jacksonville.
Oh really? Florida?
Yeah.
Go to Florida.
It's a lot of this and a lot of returns.
Oh jeez, I bet. Jeez. It's just a waiting game for all of us.
Yeah, this is like a big deterrent of why I didn't even try to be a police officer.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of time you spend standing around in the cold.
Yeah. No, I
It
just
just it seems like
terrible.
terrible, yeah.
Right.
Hey. Oh yeah. Alright, I'll start backing up. You stay there. Alright. Thank you, gentlemen.
Oh, you heading out?
Yes, sir.
Oh, hey, you be safe.
Thank you, you too.